The BIPOC community is not alone in their skepticism. Here in Madison, vaccination rates vary based on a number of factors like age, education level, and party affiliation. This is just the latest addition to the Isthmus's ever-expanding art scene, from the Sylvie to the new Madison Youth Arts Center opening soon to now the Symphony Center. One way the city does that is through tax credits. The more affordable options they offer you, the more money the city gives them. While about 2/3 of white people here in Dane County are fully vaccinated, 2/3 of black people are not. And unfortunately, those numbers don't appear to be changing. How can you even begin to comfort a family who just yesterday learned their 16-year-old son, Ben, tragically died in a car crash? Well, we're not sure what you can say. Here is something you can do, and what many here at the Stoughton Fair have already done. But when does concern turn into a possible change in policy? More mask mandates, potential lockdowns? We found out. And the University of Wisconsin School of Pharmacy is a shining example of how effective it can be to bring vaccines to people. Now, if there's any silver lining here, it's that no children under the age of 12 who haven't been eligible for the vaccine yet are currently hospitalized or have been at all anytime this summer. The future is bright for the 2021 Dane County Fair, even if the weather isn't so much. No, I'm not being cheesy. That's the actual tagline for this year's fair. Hundreds of farmers, bakers, and cheesemakers returned here to the square this morning and want to thank many of you for returning too. The new Carts in Parks program combines the two, giving some of the city's smallest businesses a better chance to make money and a difference. City planners say anywhere between 30 and 80% of the developments currently under construction will be labeled as affordable options. Finally, the Wisconsin Youth Symphony has found that here in the heart of the Isthmus, just a block down from Bree Stevens. The fair runs tomorrow through Sunday, and if you are a past or current member of the military, a first responder, a police officer, a firefighter, tomorrow is Hometown Hero Day, so you get in for free. Now, things are moving quickly, and Megan says by August you should see a few carts in more than a dozen local parks every day of the week. Ahead at 6, we'll explain how they'll continue to do that outside of routine vaccination clinics and how we can all play a role in helping people who want a shot get one. In just 10 minutes this afternoon. Hi, Governor. This is Christina from Channel 3. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Christina. Can you hear me?
We covered a lot of ground with Governor Tony Evers just days after announcing he wants a second term.
People in Wisconsin are value-based people.
But there's a lot Evers wants to accomplish before next November, starting with the current budget battle. Republicans stripped more than 400 measures from his plan, something he thinks voters will view as a mistake.
They care about education. They care about making sure that our infrastructure is good, roads, bridges, broadband, and also they're really excited about having the best health care possible.
During his first term, the governor and Republicans have gone long stretches without even speaking. So we wanted to know if he's willing to reach across the aisle.
What Republican mom and dad doesn't want to have their public schools be good for their kids?
Aware he's surrounded by many like-minded liberals in Madison.
A lot of people are, focused on what happens inside the Capitol. Frankly, that's a bubble.
Evers wants to get back on the road and talk to voters. He's also trying to bring more workers to Wisconsin and pass substantial police reform. The state Senate is debating both today.
We have to have some sort of path to the next step to really make it, have the transparency that's needed, have the accountability that's needed.
First and foremost, we just need a place to be able to do our current programming.
Finally, the Wisconsin Youth Symphony has found that here in the heart of the Isthmus, just a block down from Bree Stevens.
It's not only just the volume and square footage, it's like the particular nature of the kinds of rooms.
While Madison has many venues for musicians to perform, it lacks places for them to practice, especially spaces large enough for all 500 members of Kyle Knox's Youth Symphony.
Big rehearsal rooms, small rehearsal rooms, practice rooms, recording space.
All of that will become reality this August when the Avenue Club's lease ends and the YSO breaks ground on a brand new $25 million state-of-the-art facility for musicians between the ages of 5 and 18.
The idea here is to try to build something with sort of maximum programming in mind. What do we do and what do we want to do? And then build backwards from that. What facility will make that possible?
This is just the latest addition to to the Isthmus's ever-expanding art scene, from the Sylvie to the new Madison Youth Arts Center opening soon to now the Symphony Center.
This is not a competing building by any means. This is something that really, we complement each other.
YSO Executive Director Bridget Frazier is excited her musicians will be so close to their neighbors at the Arts Center, so the two youth groups can work together in harmony.
They bring meaning and improve the quality of everyone's life.
Ensuring music has a home in Madison.
It's hard to talk about the arts without sounding corny, even though I mean it.
Whether you're a seasoned performer or a kid just practicing.
The arts teach people about their own humanity.
Now to the question of how this will be paid for. Philanthropists have already pledged $18 million, and the Symphony will launch a public fundraising campaign to raise the rest. The center is expected to open here by the spring or fall of 2023. How can you even begin to comfort a family who just yesterday learned their 16-year-old son, Ben, tragically died in a car crash? Well, we're not sure what you can say. Here is something you can do, and what many here at the Stoughton Fair have already done. Independence Day weekend is supposed to be about fairs, food, and fun.
Ben's the happy-go-lucky man.
Instead, the Chadwick family is planning a funeral. Their 16-year-old son, Ben, died in a car accident early Friday on his way to the Stoughton Fair.
There's nobody that could not like Ben. He'd go to the softball games. He's always the guy in the outfield that was cheering for no reason.
Fair President Chris Quam says Ben was not only a great young man, one of his daughter's very best friends. He was also a talented exhibitor, excited to sell his steer. This afternoon, the community went ahead with that sale, with Ben's brother and sister leading their youngest sibling steer in front of the crowd. There wasn't an empty seat or dry eye in sight. Steers from junior exhibitors like Ben usually go for $1 or maybe $1.50 a pound. Ben's went for $14 and then went up for re-auction for another $9.
If he didn't carry himself the way he did, there wouldn't be this many people out here supporting him today.
All of that money will help the Chadwicks as they remember Ben.
Just a great kid.
Now, if you weren't able to make it out here to the Stoughton Fair today for the steer sale, you can still help the family if you are financially able to do so. They are still collecting donations. The last thing any family should have to worry about when they're planning a funeral for their 16-year-old son is money. Wisconsin is approaching a milestone, 50% fully vaccinated against the virus. But there's still a big question. How do we reach the rest? In the largest study of its kind out this week, the African American Research Collaborative surveyed more than 15,000 members of the BIPOC community and found more than 40% are still hesitant to get the COVID-19 vaccine. In Wisconsin, DHS data shows the vaccination rate for blacks is half that of whites. That begs the question of why. More than 70% say it's because they have trouble finding transportation or time off work. Nearly 1/3 say it's their history with discrimination that's made it hard to trust that vaccines are safe and effective. And the BIPOC community is not alone in their skepticism. Here in Madison, vaccination rates vary based on a number of factors like age, education level, and party affiliation. So what can be done? The study's authors say people are most likely to get vaccinated when their own doctor recommends it or the option is brought directly to them.
We have worked really hard to partner with community organizations, churches, health departments to try to break down some of those barriers.
In Madison, some pharmacy chains like Hy-Vee are rolling their buses and pharmacists into underserved communities to explain vaccine options.
What any potential side effects could be, the reasons that, the CDC is recommending people be vaccinated so that they can make those decisions with a little bit more information than they might have had generally.
And the University of Wisconsin School of Pharmacy is a shining example of how effective it can be to bring vaccines to people. Since April, they've been hosting a series of pop-up clinics all around the city. Reporting in Madison for News 3 Now, I'm Christina Lorey. While about 2/3 of white people here in Dane County are fully vaccinated, 2/3 of black people are not. And unfortunately, those numbers don't appear to be changing. Doctors say they understand the hesitancy, much of it rooted in our country's racist history, that's causing many Black people not to want the vaccine. They're trying to share information about why this vaccine is different and safe, but they say there's also an access issue. While many white people take for granted the ability to just go and get a vaccine, many Black people might not have a doctor to go to or easy internet access so they can find one.
It's so important to work with partners in the community to make sure we're getting the right messaging out to those folks who are getting vaccinated at a much lower rate.
That's where local groups come in. All pandemic, the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County has been helping debunk misinformation and bring the vaccine into BIPOC communities.
We're not here to tell you what to do. We are only here to ensure that you have the facts to make an informed decision and respect that you have that choice for yourself.
Ahead at 6, we'll explain how they'll continue to do that outside of routine vaccination clinics and how we can all play a role in helping people who want a shot get one. City officials are hoping their new Carts in Parks program will be a game changer for local vendors. Tonight, we're hearing more from one who hopes the program will help them make an even bigger difference. Like all business owners, the people behind Madison's Holy Cow food truck are trying to turn a profit.
We're different. I mean, obviously, we're not a for-profit thing.
Unlike others, that money isn't for them.
People come up and they order food, and if they have $1 or $2, they give us that. If they don't have money, they don't give us that.
Holy Cow, run by Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, uses a pay-if-you-can model.
We never ask for money.
With all proceeds donated to local charities. The cart started popping up at Madison area events in 2019, before the pandemic limited the number of people it was able to serve.
We're starting to hit our stride now.
This summer, the truck is back, and one of the dozens expected to take advantage of the city's new Carts in Parks program, made possible thanks to a $50,000 national grant. Starting 1 week from today, vendors will be able to sell in city parks without paying a fee, and they'll be guaranteed enough money to break even, giving trucks like Holy Cow the opportunity to serve more people.
Come out to our events because, again, we're trying to build community.
And turn a bigger profit to make a bigger difference.
Reestablishing those connections between neighbors, and food does that.
And this is where you come in. If you'd like to give to or get food from the Holy Cow food truck, you can find out where they'll be vending at the link I posted on our website, channel3000.com. Think of the items usually found at a food pantry. Cans, maybe some cereal, mostly non-perishable food.
It really began because we saw that milk was rarely being donated.
You heard that right. A lack of milk, even in America's Dairyland.
And it's really always needed because people just love milk, not just here in Wisconsin, but all over.
That's where Second Harvest Food Bank came up with the idea for its Adopt a Cow program that, since 2015, has provided fresh local milk to people in need directly from Dane County farmers.
It's helping the people that we're serving, but it's also helping those farmers who, they work hard every day.
And just help Second Harvest and help people in the community.
This is the first year the fair is partnering with the program. $1 from every ticket sold Saturday is going to Adopt a Cow.
That's taking a little bit of money and making a big difference with it.
Helping ensure the 125,000 people across 16 Wisconsin counties who count on Second Harvest can count on fresh produce, too, a core mission of the Dane County Fair.
The best thing for the community is, again, bringing people together.
And a core value for locals, always looking to make a difference.
For every $10 that comes into Second Harvest, we can actually provide 25 meals. Now that's, you can do the math on that. That is pretty efficient.
You have one more chance to make it out here tomorrow. Just know that the indoor exhibitions close at 5 o'clock.